Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to take a glimpse of wealth. As you heard Sashi say in the morning, uh, wealth, private banking is one of our 10 pillars of growth identified by Sashi. So is digital. The entire digital channel is the other. So these are the two pillars of growth identified by Sashi. And we'll cover, between me and Ravi, we'll cover the two, how are we executing these two principles, the two pillars of growth per se. How does it work? No, thank you. Last year has been a good year for us. We actually got recognized by three leading magazines. One is the Financial Times, the other is Euromoney, third is Asia Money. They all recognize us for the work we have done on wealth. Specifically, just to take you through what active AUM we manage. We manage close to an active AUM between MFs and alternatives of about close to 1 lakh crores. This is the first time we are disclosing some of these numbers in public domain. This is just to give you a picture of what we manage per se. Our AUM growth is about 23%. We enjoy a market share of close to 5%. The average yield on our AUM is about 62 basis points. On the wealth side, which is far more actively managed, we have a 69,000 crore AUM. The net inflows last year were close to 10,000 crores. We managed close to 1 lakh plus customers with a 50% ARR. We'll take you through the details as we go along. In terms of the growth in AUM, in the last 3 years, we have seen our AUM grow from 63,000 crores to 93,000 crores. This is especially the mutual fund AUM. The 6,000 crores is our alternate AUM. On the net flows, we've seen a remarkable growth. We've nearly doubled our net sales every year in the last 2 years. The wealth customers have grown from 73,000 to about 1,10,000. Wealth households are about from 23,000 to about 41,000. This will keep growing. Our stated objective is to cover every potential wealth customer. Every potential client of the bank should be a wealth customer. That is a stated objective, and we will do that. We are just taking you and giving you some perspective. There's a lot of discussion that happens in most of forums about ultra HNW vis-a-vis the HNW affluent and mass affluent, and why our focus continues to be HNW affluent and mass affluent. So if you look at this is a McKinsey slide actually. We have taken it and is a McKinsey research. 83 to 85% of the market is basically between the HNW affluent and mass affluent across Asia. I want to pause here. This is the kind of market we are talking about across Asia, where 83 to 85% of the market is largely between HNW affluent and mass affluent, and growing. And the incremental revenue, if you see, from a revenue perspective also, 90% of the revenue, incremental revenue, comes from this segment, which is one of the reasons why it is one of our pillars of. So what are we doing here? We have focused on B30 cities. We'll take you through the rationale of why we are doing B30 cities. We have increased our RM strength to about 600 RMs. The FY22 number, exiting number of 542, we are currently about 600, going to about 1,000 by March 23. We are doing in-house skill building completely because given the kind of RM strength we are looking at to build over the FY23, 24, 25, we don't think we will have available professionals. So most of the skilling is being done internally. As a part of the MD mandate, we were looking to reach out to 100% of our managed customers within a period of 36 months. We are following a portfolio management approach. We will show you why we are following that approach. We have done a potential analysis of our customer base, and basically both through the AIML route, we are getting to a potential, then getting to penetration in that potential. We are looking at, we are also doing quarterly portfolio review and rebalancing for our managed clients. On the technology side, we are moving from InvestTrack, which used to be our earlier application, to a Finacle Plus Valuefy application. Some of you, if you are our customers who have experienced this particular application, the reports are coming which are far more detailed in nature. You will see this complete DIY reports being available by this quarter, because this is under implementation per se. As Sampath mentioned, 98% of the 98% of all this is completely digital, and there's a fair bit of analytics and AI involvement here. We continue to commit ourselves to a very open architecture. Most of the stuff is non-proprietary in nature. We are also committed to doing a right client, right product offering. Sampath also spoke about that as a part of our practice, that we will have a right client, right product offering. This also, the recommendations are further, the pharma model. I take you through what we are doing on the recommendation side. So just from a geography expansion, this is the first part of our pillar. We have moved from to about 831 locations per se, where we are offering wealth services today, which basically comprises of hubs of 79 and the spokes of 759. So people are based in 80 locations physically, but they travel across to cover another 759 locations. As the mandate from the board, from MD, is to cover about 1,000 locations, and we are committed to doing that as well. We are going into working with Arvind's team. We are working at cluster level planning, cluster level engagement. It is getting into that level of granular execution. MD spoke in the morning about our focus on granular execution. We are going to cluster level execution on as far as this is concerned. Obviously, we spoke about the intensive training which is involved in training our people as well. This is a number which is shared by a lot of wealth firms. Leave you to guess what people share. But this is our growth in ARR. We started with 39% ARR. We are currently at 50%. This is essentially comprising trail income coming from our mutual fund, alternates, and our broking clients. We moved to an ARR based just to get away and prove to you that the transactional nature of the business was already continuing in various other wealth outfits. We have moved away from the transactional to a relationship-based model completely. And the moment we move to a relationship-based model, you can see the jump in net sales we have seen. 10,000 crores of net sales is what some of the top wealth firms have recorded in last year as well. Now coming to what we are doing on the digital side, we will give you some data points here. 16% is what our current AUM to GDP ratio is, 63% the global average. These are some data points. I leave it, these are publicly available data points, but far more important is that we are wanting to invoke through our digital platform our 6,000 branches, get into tier 2 cities, do end-to-end digital onboarding, have an intuitive UI UX, goal-based investing, model portfolios, and understand the customer closely from a risk profiling perspective. How will our wealth app look like? Anjali would have mentioned this to you in his presentation on what we are doing. Essentially, it is a 5-step journey. We are engaging to acquire. On a pre-login space here, the app is going to be available next quarter. On a pre-login stage here, there's no disclosure of any information required by the customer at all. So whatever suggestions on wealth is concerned is completely available pro bono till you actually desire to transact. Literally the entire thing. So we are not going to call a customer and say, why don't you log in, give your phone number, then log in, and then I'm going to chase you. We are not going to do that at all. We have taken that call that we are not going to do that. We are making this information completely available, and our intention is that if our product proposition is very good, customers will come to us. We can see that in the physical world. Why shouldn't it happen in the virtual world as well? Digital world as well. We can see most of our customers, we currently manage about 41,000 families. We can see that customers coming back and buying more from us. So I'm sure this is going to happen in the digital channel as well. This is complete digital onboarding, which involves risk profiling, goal-based investing, and a customer-centric experience. Some of the images which are shared here is exactly how the wealth app will look like. We are in the testing phase at this point of time, and hopefully you will see this come from us in Q2. On terms of our, we spoke about the right client, right product approach. Sampath mentioned about the pharma model, we have taken one more step. We have actually gone ahead, and for all our third-party products, we have developed a model framework which we are getting audited by a third party completely, an auditor, saying that whatever is our model process of selection, is it right for the customer or not? So we are evaluating even the scoring model and getting it audited, because ultimately we are custodian for our clients per se. Second thing we are doing is, in terms of allocations, we continue to follow the open architecture. The service first approach, I think MD spoke about that in the morning. We're moving to a service first approach. Each client has also a service RM. An RM which the client can reach out to you at 24/7 literally. And we spoke about the fact that it is a holistic offering per se. We wanted to give you, this is again an information which has not been publicly disclosed now, but we'll give you this information at this stage. We managed close to about 36 lakh crores in our total demat balances, out of which a customer that transacts at least once a year is 8 lakh, that AUM is 8,52,000 crores. And out of that, 89% do transact at least once a year. So just to correct myself here, 8,52,000 is a retail customer base which holds with us, out of which 89% do transact at least once a year in their folios. So by the same metric at which other wealth firms quote AUM, if we were to quote AUM, you can estimate what kind of AUM we are talking about. These are distributor trends. A lot of discussion happens on direct versus distributor model. Our B30 focus continues to be here, because you can see the wealth continues to be in the distributor nature. The distributor penetration in B30 is still strong, which is why we are focused on the B30 locations per se. And the AUM continues to grow. As you know, the AUM currently in the non-advisory, non-direct model is about 21 odd lakh crores, out of which 78% continues to be invested in your distributor AUM as such. That's it. Thank you. I hand it over to Ravi to take it.
Thank you, Rakesh. Good evening, everyone. Looks like a tiring day, right? I used to work in telecom, and then I used to think that people using mobile phones in meetings giving us a lot of revenues. Right? At the end of the day, telecom revenues is all when you use mobile phones. And earlier, when data was not there, we used to not have anybody using mobile phones. Maximum is text, and text was very expensive. When data came into being, then we said, wow, even in a closed room, we can get money. Now, when I come into banking, I realize in the same closed room, we can still make money. And that's what I'm going to tell you, how we are going to make money in a closed room, in addition to what we do. I'll give a slightly different perspective. Everybody looked at it from a bank's perspective. You heard Sashi, you heard a lot of people talk about the entire breadth of the bank. I'll give you a consumer perspective of what a retail customer is looking for. How many of you think of a bank if you don't do this profession when you get up in the morning? At least one person nodded saying, I don't think of a bank. Anybody think of a bank with you bank with when you get up in the morning on the right side of the bed, left side of the bed? But you think of three things, day in and day out. I want to pay somebody. Isn't it part of your life every day? I need money. This is also part of our life. Somebody has to give me loan, somebody has to give me some credit. I have money. What do I do with this money? So these are the three things which a consumer is looking for. I want to make day-to-day payments. I need money. Can you help me with money? I have money. Can you help me invest? You saw a lot of conversations around all these three things. Whether Parag talked about payments and what we want to do on the payments and how we want to get into payments as a sector, as a very specific area, is because this is what consumers are looking for. You get there, you will get a lot more. Arvind talked about retail assets. Rahul talked about the CRB and the corporate. They all want money. They all want services. So how do we get there? And wealth, I have money. Rakesh Singh talked about what we do with the wealth business. And all these things are built on two foundations for us. The one foundation is relationship management. You just don't go and ask anybody money, right? You just don't go and tell anyone manage my money. You just don't go and transfer money to somebody. You do it only when you have a relationship. And that's what Arvind, Sampath and Smita all talked about in terms of what is the relationship that we build with our customers that enable us to create the second pillar, which is the experience pillar, which Anjani talked about, in terms of how do we create an experience, both physical, digital, phygital, all these kinds of models, to make sure what consumers are looking for from a bank is done. And I am part of digital marketing team. So what is it this marketing in a nutshell do? Our job is to create traffic, quality traffic. People need to come into our branches. People need to come into our digital properties. We need to make sure our properties are inviting enough that you want to come in and see what's there. So that's the first pillar of what we do. Once you come in, if you come into my house, and if I call all of you people in, should I just ask you, hi, hello, how are you? Or should I just say, hello, XYZ, what is it? Should we not have a personalized conversation? So the next step is, whoever is walking into your property, how much of a personalized conversation that you can have. And I will explain to you how do we do that in this. Why do you want to have this personalized conversation? To build relationships and also to make sure the consumers know what you have as offer, to nudge them to see what is on offer in your shop. I'm sure all of you go and buy dresses. Assume that you are going and buying a dress for a marriage. First time you go into the same shop, say Manyavar, you finish looking at something and they say, I'll come back again. When you go back, if that person starts the conversation from the time you left, last time you came, you saw this, there is something new which has come in, you will enjoy that visit. If you have to start all over again, I don't think you will love it. And that's exactly the conversation that we need to do to make sure we nudge our customers to start evaluating our various financial products. And the last step that we do is, how do we convert these conversations? How do we convert these experiences into meaningful, long-term, happy relationships? So the first thing is about brand. People walk into HDFC Bank. We reach out to them at many places. How does the brand behave? If you look at it, what is top box consideration from a marketing perspective? We go and ask consumers. These are all third-party survey. We go and ask consumers, in the next 6 months, if you have to buy a banking product or service, who would you consider? Give me the names. Unaided, whatever name comes to the top of your mind, let us know. HDFC Bank's top box consideration was 11 in April 21, and you can see the number. It's around 21 now. 9 percentage point increase. In our parlance, this is a lead indicator for market share gains that's going to happen. Top 2 box consideration, you can see almost 55% of the market is saying HDFC Bank as either number 1 or number 2. Whatever payment product they are looking for, whatever lending product people are looking for, whatever wealth management product people are looking for. That's the power of the 27 years of work that has happened in this place. And this is purely 27 years of hardcore relationship building and experience that we have created is giving us this kind of stuff. And it's a sum total of all the interactions and experiences that we have created. How much traffic is actually coming? I'll take only one example. I'll give you more numbers later. What's the kind of visits that we have in our website? 8 crore people walk into our website alone in a month. Imagine the number of people walking into our shop to look at something. So what we need to do, make these 8 crore people have personalized conversations with us. And if you look at it, there's a small line below which is the search engine optimization, meaning how much of people are looking for HDFC Bank on their own on the website in the internet world. And that's why I said I'm so happy all of you are in your laptops and mobile phones. You're searching for a product, for a service, and that's the kind of numbers. That's the kind of percentage of traffic that we get, and that's the power of brand, which relates so much of traffic coming in. I'm going to show you some more numbers on what we do with this traffic a little bit later. Arvind talked about passionately on NBA. So we have an advanced analytic engine. We have a cloud-based engine called Spark Beyond, which we have implemented. We are one of the few banks in the world which has implemented a complete analytic solution on the cloud. What does it do? We have all the transactions, and this is one of the famous things that I keep hearing from a lot of people. Banking is all about trust. Would you all agree? You all put in your money? I see a lot of youngsters here, but when you go and ask today, nobody believes in India anybody has taken their money and run away, except for cooperative banks maybe. The rest of the places, your money has never been taken out. You always got the money back. Today people are saying, you know so much about me. You know how much I earn. You know where I spend. You know, you have my credit card details. You know which shop I spend on what. How can you not use all those stuff to make the conversation that you are having with me relevant? That's the only question they are asking. If you are not having relevant conversations, they don't trust you. Why? Because in a human relationship, trust happens only when both of us have relevant conversations. Every time you talk something which is absolutely, which we have never talked about and is unrelated, would I ever trust you? I'll never trust you as a human being because you don't know anything about me. Same way, a brand has to create the trust by having meaningful conversations. We have first party data as a bank. We have everything about you. We have 13 channels in which consumers interact with us. Whether it is the VRM channel or phone banking channel, which Sampath talked about, the brand channel, which Arvind, or all the digital channels. Today, our AI engine on a daily basis takes all the feedback from all the channels, all the customer interactions, puts it together along with the transaction behavior, and then predicts what is the intent that the customer has. Arvind talked about multiple NBAs that we have created, and when we do this context does it for all the physical channels also, which is there in the CRM for our agents and our relationship managers to have a conversation with the customer, and it's also done on the digital channels across all our properties. Then what do we do? Once the customer in love with our brand comes into our property, we personalize the conversation. You ask them to explore the financial products. We have a lot of data. Our journeys, which Anjani showcased, they're all on the basis of new age platforms. These platforms spew data in terms of how many customers are walking in, what are they doing in each of these properties, which step they are looking at, dropping off, why, all these things. With this, we have an pre-approved product. We sell that directly to the customer. Customer walks out. There is zero human touch, which means in your financial language, low C2I. If we are not able to give that product because we don't have a pre-approved offer, we give it to the underwriting team for them to do a manual underwriting. There is a phenomenal effort which is going on to convert this manual underwriting into what we call as decisioning on the fly. You saw that happen in the auto loans. So if you come and today you give all the data to us, we are in a position to take a credit decision on the fly, which means today whatever has got a higher cost of acquisition, as we invest and make sure the decisioning on the fly capability happens, we will have a far lower cost of acquisition and we will reap the ROI benefits. How do you know this works? And these are the numbers. You look at the unassisted digital contribution penetration here. First one, 2 journeys, we started at 28%. Today we are at 48%. Absolute numbers have increased. Number of people coming on their own and taking these products have increased. This is on 2 journeys, which is limit enhancement and upgrade on cards. What happens to the sale of a credit card? We launched the journey in March. Compared to March, in May, we have gone in unassisted contribution up by 84%. Because of the phenomenal journeys that have been built, people who walk in, come in, go through the process, take the cards and go away. In the case of personal loan and business loan, we have a 71% lift in 2 months flat. And as we add more journeys, this channel is going to grow in leaps and bounds, because that's the consumer behavior. There's a huge amount of technology from the marketing side, from the digital side, which goes behind all this stuff. We have invested heavily, we will continue to invest, and we'll make sure that every instance of a consumer interaction that happens with the bank gets into our analytical models that enables us to predict what is the intent of the customer, bring them onto our properties, get them have a personalized conversation with us, and make sure we have journeys in which they actually go through and take the product, which results in lower cost of acquisition. What happens when we use growth hack? We call this process growth hacking because data is available, right? I have a team of people, all youngsters, who are very, very good in data and consumer insighting. They just look at this data on a daily basis and see the kind of growth rates we have in terms of conversion rates. From a 3% when we started on a loan on card, we already moved up to 7%. 7% visits to conversion ratio is phenomenal. It's phenomenal for a loan. And if I have to look at visitor to conversion ratio, it is 24%. People take multiple visits to come in and do it because it's easy to go ahead and through the journey. When we go back to customers and look at why they are dropping off after looking at their EMI, we come to know when we converse with the customers, they tell us, I'm thinking how to pay this back. What is it that I need to do? Because I'm going to take the money. Money will come instantaneously. From next month, I have to pay 20,000 every month. What is it that I need to compromise on? That's where the nudges that we have helps in terms of how do we actually convince that small push to do it. We have phenomenal amount of A/B testing. We create multiple experiences. Anjani talked about an experience for Christmas and an experience for Diwali. We can create an experience for every individual customer. That's the power of technology we have. 90% of our website visits today are personalized. Out of the 80 million that you saw, 90% is personalized. The 10% we can't personalize because we can't identify who the person is. Because people keep removing the cookies and come back. We are already live with 10 journeys. Another 17 is going to be done in this year, including NTB, which is the decisioning on the fly on credit cards and PL. Auto loan is already done, and you will see us come out. What's a big opportunity in terms of the universe that we see? I only talked about one example of our website, which has 8 crore visitors. We also have mobile banking and net banking logged in sections. We get 12 crore visitors a month there. Imagine between these two properties, we have 20 crore people walking into our store. This 20 crore people, when they are walking in, what we need to do is to invest in technology to personalize the conversation. And just to give you some more numbers, 5.5 million is the customer visits on website purely for, that's for personal loan. 1.1 is for savings account, there's a small gap. 5.5 million customers are coming to our website looking for personal loan. 3.5 million customers are coming for credit card, looking for credit card. 1% conversion, you do the max. You people are good at max. 2% conversion, you do the max. We have to just nurture these customers because not everybody is going to buy the product at the day when they are going to look at it. That's the power of what we have today. This is the kind of traffic we have, how much we are going to go ahead and make sure the experience that we create for all these people is so damn easy that they can just go ahead and complete the transaction. And we strongly believe we will continue to build digital end-to-end fulfillment, which Anjani and everybody talked about. We will growth hack. We will look at each and every drop-off, and we will have automated ways of engaging with them We call it growth hacking in our thing. We'll grow our iconic brand, HDFC Bank, and with the merger, we see much more possibilities going for. Digital discoverability in the website or in the internet world, we'll continue to invest, and we'll continue to invest in the bedrock of advanced analytics to help us make ourselves an experience business. My last words, we strongly believe if your business is not an experience business, you are not in business anymore. And our job collectively is to make sure the banking that we do becomes a phenomenally great consumer experience business. Thank you.
Q&A or? Okay.
They're too tired.
Thank you, sirs. This comes to an end of today's session. Now I would like to invite Ms. Madhu Chibar, Head of Corporate Communication, for closing remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Madhu Chibar, and I look after corporate communications. Thank you all for having joined us today for our annual analyst meet. I hope we've been able to share our vision and roadmap ranging from business strategy to technology to customer centricity, what Ravi was speaking about, to organization culture, what we spoke about in the morning, to various other things. I think the day gave us all an opportunity to meet in person after a very long time, interact, and most importantly, hear from you. We value the time that you've committed to the event, and thank you once again. In case there are any further questions that you would like to ask, I'd encourage you to stay in touch with our investor relations team. I won't stand between us and tea anymore, and request you to join us for a cup of tea before we end the day. Thank you.